Davis. Call to here.
If you or the person you are calling for has a life-threatening emergency, please hang up and dial 911. Our fax number is 262-687-8224. For assistance, please select from one of the following two options. If you need to schedule a well child appointment, please press 1. To speak with a member of our care team and for all other calls, press 2 or remain on the line. Please note, your call may be monitored for quality assurance purposes. We apologize as we are currently scheduling other callers. Please continue to hold for our next available agent. If you have an active MyChart account, you may request non-urgent medical advice or receive prescription refill assistance by using the Message Center link on the left side menu bar of your MyChart homepage. MyChart can provide you with direct access to physicians' offices for issues such as immunization records, disability forms, issues, travel letters, or other non-urgent needs. Please visit your MyChart homepage and select Message Center from the left side menu bar. Not currently enrolled in MyChart or not set up for text messages or appointment reminders? Please let your representative know, and they will be able to provide you assistance in setting up your MyChart.
For Growing Ascension Pediatrics, this is Jackie. How can I help you?
Hi, Jackie. I am Jasmine Renee Davis. I am calling because I had requested you all to call me. There was and this has been almost a month, if not a month ago.
Okay, let me take a look. What's the child's date of birth and last name?
December 28th, 2011, and his name is TYRELLEWARDMORRIS.
Is that all like one name? Like his full name?
Yeah, that's his name.
What's just his last name?
MORRIS is his name, if that's what you're referring to. He has a full name, though.
Yeah, but I just look up by the last name with the date of birth.
Ooh.
So it's Tyrell Morris?
Is that what you have listed there for his name?
Yeah.
Okay. He has another name with that, though.
Edward is his middle name?
That is his name.
Okay. Tyrell Edward Morris. Okay, let's see. Is this regarding a referral?
I told you that I had called and requested that you all call me back. I want to make an appointment with the doctor that is seeing him. And also I was told that a nurse will be calling me, and that's been a month. And that's been a lot of valuable time that I don't understand why you all have not called me yet.
Okay. Okay, I just give me 1 second here.
No, I can hold the phone or whatever, but I have to keep my own time. Or seconds or whatever. I don't know what you're asking. What are you asking me? Give you 1 second. What does that mean?
Just 1 moment, please. That's just so that I can read over the chart notes here.
Can you read them out loud so I can know what you have talking about?
What is that, ma'am?
I asked if you can read those notes out loud so I can know what it is, what notes you all have, so I can be informed here.
Well, I can go ahead and I'll transfer you over to the nurse, okay?
So you did not answer my question or anything. You say you were going to read some notes. What does the note say?
Well, I was reading to see where the note, like, back from where it was routed. I was looking just to see where the notes were routed
And
to.
what did you find? What did the note say? Can you please just tell me before you transfer my call? And what date was that?
Well, it looks like back on April 22nd.
And what was it? What did the note say?
Well, I would have to have the nurse relay those messages to you. So I can go ahead.
Who was the
and
notes
transfer you over
from?
to the nurse.
Who was the notes from?
Well, when you had called, it was just routed over to the nurse and then over to Dr. Santos.
No, I have not. I did not talk to them. I did not talk to them. My call was. What was just routed then?
When you had called, when a patient calls, we route it over to the nurse. The nurse will disperse it where it needs to go.
And so,
And that's what that's all I'm saying is that it was routed over to the nurse, and the nurse sent it to Dr. Santos.
and you all decided that you wouldn't call me, and so you decided not to call me.
I did not, ma'am.
No, I'm talking about you said that the nurse there and that doctor know that I called requesting to talk with them and set up in a meeting and talk to them about my son and his care, and you all chose not to talk to me.
Ma'am, I'm not sure.
Does it show that you all
It's going
talked to me at all? Did you see that I talked to you all at all?
Not recently, no. It was back on, it looks like April 22nd.
Okay, I appreciate the information, Jackie.
Okay. Hold, please, okay?
Hold what? You all deal with a lot of
So
health.
I can
different.
transfer you to the nurse. I will transfer the phone call to the nurse.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
These people are,
Look,
referrals
your
and
call may
everything,
be
so you
monitored
should
for
already
quality
know. You write
assurance
all this stuff.
purposes.
Somebody needs physical therapy. Somebody needs something. You're just throwing shit out there. It's an agenda.
Pediatrics, this is one of the nurses.
What's your name?
Hi, my name is Sherry.
Sherry,
Who's calling?
I'm Jasmine Renee Davis.
Okay.
Is there a reason why you all have refused to return my calls? All my calls about my son and me calling, trying to talk with you all?
Okay, who is your son? I haven't seen this, so who's your son?
I was told that you did. I was told that the call was routed to you all, and I do not want this to be retaliatory against my son or affect his care or who he is there or you all to mistreat him or anything because of the calls that I make.
I'm sorry, I don't know who he is. Can you give me his name?
I can tell you his name is Tyrell.
T-Y. And the last name?
Morris, but he has a full spelling of his name.
And what's his date of birth?
December 28, 2011.
Okay, let me see what's going on here. So what is going on? What do you need?
No,
I'm
what do you
trying
all
to
see in the
figure
notes?
out.
Can you tell me what the notes are that you see?
I don't see a lot. It just said something about referral.
From who? A referral for what?
Let me check. I am not familiar with this name at all, so I don't know anything about this.
So you don't even know who that person is, and that person is in your doctor, goes to your doctor's office?
No, I'm saying that somebody had asked for a referral for the Child Development Center.
That was
The
not.
coordinator from the Child Development Center was requesting a referral.
That's
So
not.
do you know who
That's not
that
the
is?
reason for my call.
Huh?
I did not talk to that person.
Okay, well that's the message I have. Somebody from Child Health, the Children's Hospital Health Coordinator was calling from the Development Center requesting a referral.
And what date was
And
that?
that's all I see. I don't see anything like it doesn't say what the referral is about or anything like that.
I
And it was from April 29th.
Okay, but what about April 22nd?
I don't see anything on my own. I don't see what's going on. Now, and this is your son, correct?
Yes, he is.
Okay.
But he is his own person.
So it just says that you're Jasmine, correct?
I'm Jasmine Renee Davis, not just Jasmine.
Okay, Jasmine Renee Davis, and it said that you can be involved in his medical planning and allowed to share information. And that's, from, let me see who's that from. From Kenosha County DFS.
When was
Says that you can be involved in his medical planning and we're allowed to share information with you. I don't know.
What
It
date
says
is
something
that?
about a note about getting medical records. That part I don't know what happened with that.
No, but what date was that where you got that information?
That's the
from?
22nd.
The 22nd, you said that they called you or you called them?
I don't know who called who. Let me look. I don't know. It just says that you had called and talked to one of the people, and then it said that I don't know if they had talked to whatever, but they said that you're still the legal guardian and can be involved in the medical planning. And the call was initiated from you calling first.
Right. But the problem is I called about more than just that. And it said that the call was routed, the information was routed to a nurse and that specific doctor. Now, it's only one doctor. Is there any other doctors that is on this, that would see my son at all?
No, it's just Dr. Joe is on there. That's the only one that I see.
And I was told that he did get the message. I have been
Yeah, and he sent the referral. He's the one that sent the referral.
Referral for where?
Something with children's. Hang on, I got to go back to the other page. That the Children's Health Coordinator wanting to do the Children's Child Development Center is requesting a referral, and that's what he sent to Children's.
Okay, but that is not the reason that I called, though.
Okay, I don't know anything else. I'm just reading to you what I'm reading. I've never seen this before because I've never seen this chart. So I can only tell you that there's just a message, saying that they can talk to you. And then there was this message, and that's the only message I see. So I'd have to go way back into the chart to see what's going on. Because it said that there was referrals, as I'm reading, referrals for speech and OT for Child Development Center. And,
Okay, but I told you all that I knew that I could talk about my son, and that's just a lot. But I spoke to Eileen about this issue, someone there named Eileen.
Okay.
And she even got to the point where she discontinued the call. She hung the phone up while I was talking, actually.
Okay, well, I can only tell you what I see. I don't know much more about this. If there's a question, if there's something you want me to ask Dr. Joe.
Yeah, I want to talk to him and see what kind of what he's all about. I want to know about his beliefs because my son is not a religious person. He is not a religion. I want to know about your hospital. I want to know how you all go about your care. I want my son to grow and be healthy. I want him to be himself. I had said a lot of things to Eileen that day, and for her not to take any notes on that call as important, I was talking to her for about an hour. And for you all not to have any notes, that is a serious problem, and I have to submit a complaint about that.
Okay. I can only give you what I know, and I said it's about referrals to speech and OT and Children's Hospital, and that's what I know. But let me get this to Dr. Joe. And anything else that you want to talk to him about?
Yes, I would like to just speak to him overall about my son and what I want for my son, what I want to see for my son. Also, I do not want my son to be autistic. That is not something that's going to be a life sentence for him. Things have to change. I'm not going to allow any permanent diagnosis on my son. You all have to get the things and do the things that you need to do. If you want to see my son for autism, there is going to be, some discussing. I'm not going to keep my son diagnosed with autism. He's not going to steady be through the school to prison pipeline and a lot of mass incarceration that comes along with developmental disabilities. There are a lot of people who believe that people won't ever have a quality of life because they are autistic and they're different things. And I'm not rushing my son's growth. I'm not going to hurry him to grow up and be what everybody else wants him to be. He is going to grow according to how he wants to grow, but he does not have to carry around all these diagnoses that have been forced on him. If someone puts a child in a classroom and forces them around a specific behavior and they don't know and they're impressionable, they may believe this is how they're supposed to behave in a specific environment. My son was forced into autism through Summers Elementary School in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Okay. In Summers, Wisconsin, Kenosha County. Instead of them only and I did not know better at the time, instead of them only giving him an educational diagnosis because they didn't want to teach him or they had a specific quota, they get a specific amount of money. For people they get way more money for special education than they do for regular students. They did not apply that. And my son was not ready for school. He hadn't been around a bunch of other children, his age group. And, so he was really just primarily just with me all the time. Even though he had a sibling, and he had other people around, my son was able to just be a baby as much as he wanted to be. But for them to diagnose him in particular and give him some sort of ridiculing and all that different stuff because he was not reaching their potential. I want to know what standards you all meet that, and I want the information. I want the literature. I want to know about different forms that you all have, workshops. I want to know all about this. I want to go to places. I want to learn more about what you all have, and I want a point of view. Whatever education you all have about that, I want it. And I want to talk to you about this. This is not going to be some simple situation where you say that my son and you carry him along with a diagnosis and eventually trash him. No, we're going to get I'm going to get the education. He's going to have the education. You all can do whatever you want to do. But when it comes to Tyrell Edward Morris, then I'm going to make sure that I advocate for my son and that he is able to live and breathe and be who he is. Okay. How his weight is picked up and a lot of different things throughout the course of maybe about 4 years. I just want to be sure, even about his masculinity or whatever it is, it doesn't necessarily, because how people have different chromosomes and different things. People have feminine energy. People have masculine energy. I want my son to have a healthy balance in his life. I want him to continue to build muscle. I want him to continue to build blood and feel healthy. I want his hair to grow, his skin to be enriched. These are the things that I want for him. I know you all talked about there's some eating issues that he have and gastroenterology and different things that you all have there. But these are really serious issues that you are calling a delay. But in fact, I want you all to see from a point of view that Tyrell is his own self. He lives his life the way that he lives his life, and he's afforded that opportunity. Now, it doesn't take away from the fact that he's going to continue to grow, though. Okay. And I have spoken with Care for Kids. I haven't spoken with them, but I have emailed them asking to speak with them. They won't email me back. They're not cooperating with me at all, just as well as others are as well. Kenosha Department of Children and Families, they do their minimum. And I'm not going to have have this for every single agency. It's a disrespect, because what you all have to not do is have a prejudice and get involved. For even before my son was in this, you all had him listed as foster care when he was just even at my mom's house sometime or whatever. But I do not appreciate this. You all have, this was way before 2023. You had him listed as a foster child. But I do know that foster children get less, their healthcare plan is not as healthy as another child. So I want to get together, and I don't know if I would call it a strategy, but I'm independent, and you all would tell me, but I know that you all have Catholic beliefs. That is a serious situation. When you talk about, like age 12, where he can make his own decisions, I have to know where you base that off of. You have specific beliefs, and I do not want my son to have to hurry through life, and you all keep me out of his care, out of making choices for him. But then you guys have a whole bunch of social workers and other people in his life. So why do you all get to still make choices and be involved in his life? But then you say, well, you know what? The people who actually created him, cannot, I have a problem with that. Even with him being circumcised, it's a lot of things that happened with my child that was not explained to me properly and appropriately. And that is a problem. With you all being a Catholic hospital, you have your own Catholic beliefs, and those have not been explained to me properly. I am not a religious person. I'm not a Christian. My son is not a Christian. I believe in myself. Okay, I'm Jasmine Renee Davis. I believe in always living. I don't believe in ever dying or an expiration date. I believe that the body heals itself. I know that nutrition is a powerful thing. I do not eat animal products or anything like that, but I know that my son is, he eats some animal products or whatever, but primarily he has a choice to eat other items if he would prefer. But there are different things that you all can make sure that he gets his enrichment. It just has to be properly written down, articulated, and the problem is there. As far as a 6 month well child follow-up visit or whatever, he had one on October 18, 2024. It perhaps is about time for him to have another appointment. And so I would like to just begin, if you all can call me within 24 hours, and start making appointments so I can write those appointments down and begin to make these different appointments. I also want the number to that child development center so that I can call them and talk to them and get him set up in some appointments like that. And then if, I know you all have had a lot of records. What's your name again? You said your name. What's your name? Sherry. Okay. Yes. Okay. So I know you all had made comments like, oh, well, you had made referrals, but mom, referring to me, did not follow through with them. I know that the previous doctor had made comments like that in the nursing staff.
Wait. Okay. Who said this? Because
Dr.
I said,
Nas.
I don't know anything about your son. I don't know anything about the case.
Dr.
So I'm just
Nas.
wondering who said that.
Dr. Nas. Dr. Nas did.
Okay.
And Dr. Nas, I'm sure, and he retired. I wasn't even told that he retired. Okay. So, I did not get any information on that. I had to happen to find out where you all weren't even sending over the proper information for my son to get his pull-ons. He went like months without even having the pull-ons. You all didn't send the information to JB Medical. This was back in perhaps like July or so. I just had, just a time. But during that period where Dr. Niles had wrote those reports, and it was just kind of discouraging or whatever, because he said that I was not doing the things that I need to do to take care of my son. But what he did not mention was he was referring my son to places that my son he was over the age limit, like 5 or 6, things like that. Okay. He had referred him to some kind of place, and I called them up for children with autism or whatever, or with that diagnosis. And they said that my son was too old. I was the one who had took my son to the dentist previously at Children's Hospital. And they said that my son is now his age. This was even like 3 years ago. They said that he was too old to come there. And I just don't know how at Children's Hospital they see children up until sometimes like the age of 21 or older. And
I don't know why they said that. I really don't.
And so these places were saying that my son was not there. I was calling different places, say they don't see autism children, children autistic, that's autistic. And so I do everything. I'm the one who have been taking care of my son. Things happen. And this is why I am so happy that I have a mother to step in, but it's not you all's responsibility to take over. That's just like you work with probably 100 people. You know what I'm saying? To take care of probably 100 people or whatever. But you also have your own. I have my own life. I have my son. You know what I'm saying? But I would just inform you that I care about who my son is right now. I have full access of being with my son and all that. But the things that I can be involved with, as far as like his schooling, as far as his health care, these are all things. I appreciate the holistic approach, Sherry, as far as just knowing that my son is a full person. So to really take care of his full body, not to separate him, not to divide him into portions or parts, I believe that these things are appropriate for him to be active. He doesn't have to join any teams or get any memberships, but he can learn how to do things and be more active, to bounce a ball and to do the things. You all have more than just what you have there, and it's just all about how you write the referral. It's all about how you write it, but not to say, I never want you all to say that my son is terminally ill to get different things. But I want to work with you all, and there's a whole lot of things that you all do. If it requires traveling, I'm interested in that. You all have all kinds of camps and all kinds of things that my son can be referred to or whatever. Even I can. Like I said, you all have seminars. I know so much that these hospitals have to understand what you all are doing. My son is required to see you all right now. Okay. That's a court order. So right now, whatever it is, I'm going to maximize on that and get whatever it is out of it because it is court order. You know what I'm saying? And so I prefer to take care of myself. I prefer to take care of my son. But since you all are involved, then you have to be involved. And my son is an active participant in his healthcare. That means that he has to benefit from these different credentials that you all have. His healthcare matters for him. It's healthcare, not sick care. Tyrell has to make it, and already, with his school, they're being inappropriate with the individualized education plan. They're not properly doing that. And so he's not, getting the things in the school or saying, that he's not meeting up to what they find, but they're not teaching him to even see what it is. If he is in 7th grade, Sherry, okay, and all the other 7th graders are learning algebra, arts, musical instruments, or whatever. They are required. Tyrell should know whatever any of those other children are learning, but they have the responsibility and they are being paid to make sure that they hire someone that teaches Tyrell in the way that he is supposed to learn. That is the law. Okay. And just as well as in his healthcare. And some people, they let their children kind of get experimented on and they get experimented on. And I understand that everyone is different, but I do not want that risk for my son. Okay. And so I want to begin to look at more natural things in his life, and to just make sure that he is growing properly in his manhood and just make sure that, he just continues to grow appropriately. And because he should be able to continue to grow. And that is one thing that I want for my son in his manhood, with his penis, with his testicles, with his bones, and again, with his blood, with his skin, with all of his body parts. These things are supposed to be healthy. I know for a fact the body heals itself. Also, a lot of things that are in different things, it does cause a problem. And so when you all have concerns, that you said that there's some concerns with his eating. Tyrell is very detail oriented. Okay. And so because Tyrell is detail oriented, there's only specific things that he wants to eat. If he hasn't been introduced to something in particular, he may not have an interest for it because he does not know where it comes from. I know that there are many different programs and approaches where, these doctors say, okay, this is what they would prefer. They prescribe different things or whatever and say, okay, here's approach where I talk to the state of Wisconsin so he can get some sort of vouchers for fruits, vegetables, or different things like that. There's just so many different programs that, base a different thing off of. It's one thing for me to do it for him at home, but if you all have records and you're not charting those progresses and things like that, he's not going to ever be able to fundamentally get out of those things. And I don't want my son to diminish due to a reputation that is not being noted professionally. And so these are the things that are most appropriate in the way of growth, in a way of living in life, and to be proper. It's just like the people, they're not, my son is I want him to be able to walk and be appropriate, in who he is. And that takes time, but I don't want it to be like, okay, if you all are working with my son, or, he might need, like, for instance, do you see where he has sprained his leg or something like that in October, at school? Do you see the notes for that anywhere?
No, I haven't, and I'm sorry, but I'm now going to have to cut you off. I got a lot of good information that I can give to Dr. Joe. I put down a lot of your concerns while you were talking, but I do need to go. I have another call that I have to take. I'm the only one here right now, but I will let him know that you would like a call back, and you would like it back within 24 hours, okay?
But you all did see him when he did sprain his leg. He came there. You all put a boot on my son. I talked to you all some other time.
I would have to have more time to look at the chart.
Please, put that in there too. What notes did you put? What notes did you take?
I just said that you're having concerns and that you would like to go with a more holistic care, and you want to make sure that, that there's workshops and literature that you'd like to know about, that kind of stuff, pretty much, things like that.
My son is, I don't want you all to treat him as a religion or anything. I want him to live about increasing his life.
Yeah, and all that. So
and keeping himself for himself.
I'm sorry, but I do have to go. I have to take this other call.
It is what it is.
Okay.
I promise. When I start talking that real stuff, and they hurry up and get out the phone. When I start talking about when he hurt his leg over there at school, now she got to hurry up and get off the phone. Yeah, it is what it is. I'm here. I'm Jasmine Renee Davis. Right now it's 4:40 p.m. I'm Jasmine Renee Davis.